Good morning. Today is June 14th, 2019, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to this meeting of the Logan County Commissioners, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for attending. All right, we're going to move on to item 3. This of any citizen desiring to be heard.
Michael Ellenberg. Just still concerned about our roads.
Okay, so if you want to talk about specific roads, we'll help you identify your county commissioner, and he'd be happy to discuss that with you after the meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
That's you, and I'd like to be able to get on the agenda about roads.
We'll talk about it after the meeting. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. All right. Any other citizen desiring to be heard? Hearing none. Okay. Consideration and possible action on approving minutes of May 31 and June 3, 2019.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Okay, item 5. Discussion with Dennis Oakes, Fair Board President, presenting update of repairs to the Logan County Fairgrounds due to flood damage. Dennis,
Yeah.
floor is yours, sir.
I'll be glad to answer any questions. First, I wanted to tell you kind of what's going on because it's an evolving process down there. Of course, we had no idea of the severity of the damage to the fairgrounds, and it seems like it just grows daily. They've actually started on the remedial process of restoring some cleanliness down there. Let's see, there's 5 barns and buildings affected. The educational building, which we thought was very minimal in the beginning, now has become more severe in the fact that they're taking the paneling inside up about, I think they're up to about 38 inches now, and because they're having to remove the insulation because it's contaminated. They're doing that in every building. Basically what they'll have to do is they've got to strip everything down, power wash it to get it clean, and then they'll come back and start sanitizing. We thought the sanitization process would start today, but it's probably not going to. I talked with them. I go down there every day, and like I say, it seems like every day something else happens or comes up that there's more to it, but it's tenfold more than we ever dreamed of in the beginning. And so basically the bottom line is this: because of health reasons and talking to some of you, the fairgrounds is basically shut down until further notice. We actually had to cancel a couple of events and refund some money because we don't want, I know as good stewards to the county and everybody else, we don't want to have a problem with someone getting sick and coming back against any of us. So not only have we basically have shut the whole facility down. I mean, grounds, buildings, nothing until this is done, because what they've told me is once the contamination is removed and they start the sanitation process, it doesn't do any good to, do half of it and then let somebody come rent one of the buildings. So basically we're just going to make sure we're doing that. So other than that, that's kind of where we're at. You guys got any questions?
I don't, Dennis, thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks a lot, Dennis.
Okay.
It's unfortunate, but thanks for looking after that for us. Any other questions, Mike?
No, I imagine FEMA will get in on it somehow or another.
Yes, we actually have, I apologize, I forgot to say that. We actually have 2. We have FEMA and AGCO. But AGCO's the one that's down there now. And what they told me was, I met with the AGCO officials and they said that actually there may be some lapse in coverage and there may be some overlapping coverage, because FEMA may cover some stuff that AGCO doesn't, and vice versa, AGCO may cover some stuff that FEMA doesn't. But yes, they both are involved in it.
Anything else? Any further discussion? Hearing none.
I'm good.
Okay. Move on to item 6. Consideration, discussion, and possible action concerning the ongoing support, program management, and any previous or pending agreements made or necessary between the City of Guthrie, Logan County Fair Board, and Logan County concerning the 4-H C facilities located at the Logan County Fairgrounds. Today we have with us City Manager Leroy. Also, Leroy, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. Mr. Tenny Maker from the Mr. Dennis Oakes from the Fair Board, and Cynthia Crump representing the
OSU Extension.
OSU Extension, and we have Mr. Terry Stowers from the 4-H. All right. Okay. So the reason for this meeting, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, is there's been a lot of discussion and back and forth, and very few people really understand the whole story, the whole picture, and so a long time ago I figured out that the best way to do this was to get all the principals in one room and let's talk about it and figure out what's going on. And then that way when we leave, my goal is we all understand what we're doing. Okay.
Absolutely.
So with that, I would like to open with the city of Guthrie to ask questions, and then the way this works, okay, it is our Board of Commissioners are the only ones that can ask questions. No discussion in the gallery here, right? So we're going to ask questions, and when you're asked or given the floor, then you're able to do that to interface with the board. But the interface is with the Board of Commissioners, not each other. Okay? So we'll start with that. Leroy, do you have anything for this topic that you'd like to talk about?
I have a few comments. I have some drawings that might be helpful in the discussion. For grant purposes, this is the boundaries of Mineral Wells Park that includes the rodeo arena. Each one of you might want to take those. First thing I'd like to point out, of course, this project started in 2015, so it's prior to my tenure, so I'm not sure my files are totally complete. But there are several entities that would be required to get consent for the use of the rodeo grounds for ATV trails. And when I reviewed this yesterday, in February of 2015, the City Council made a motion to express support for the ATV Training Center to be located near the rodeo arena. After the grant was awarded in November 2015, the city, by resolution 2015-22, authorized the mayor to sign a lease agreement with the Oklahoma State University and the Oklahoma 4-H Foundation for the ATV Training Center to utilize city property, subject to the terms of the lease agreement being agreeable to the city manager, city attorney, and the Logan County Economic Development Council. I could not find an executed lease agreement that had been signed by the city in my files, and I asked the city clerk if she had a copy of the executed agreement. So to our knowledge, at the city, even though it's been approved to do a lease agreement, we're not aware that one actually was completed.
Okay.
Second, a lot of people were not aware of, but in 1978, the city of Guthrie received a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant from Oklahoma Tourism and Recreation Department for improvements of the rodeo ground. As a result, if you get a federal grant like that, any improvements to the rodeo arena has to be signed off on by OTRD. So that's a process that we would have to go through. And that's whether we're making improvements or somebody else is making improvements. Third entity that will need to be involved, in 2005, the city authorized the rodeo arena to be pledged by an entity as collateral for a loan from the Logan County Economic Development Council. That entity defaulted on the loan, therefore, as a result, Logan County Economic Development Council, subject to certain conditions, has control of the rodeo arena until August 31st, 2021. changes or improvements to rodeo arena without city consent. But again, that's a third party that will need to sign off on whatever's done at the rodeo arena. And then finally, Logan County Economic Development has leased the rodeo arena to Jerry Casey and Brett Weldon through January 26, 2020. I don't think we ought to make changes to the rodeo arena if it's under lease to somebody without their input. The second drawing that I think might be helpful or worth discussing if you all would take one of those. This map should be subject to further verification, but based on some city records, in addition to the rodeo arena, the city owns land west of the rodeo arena. And if you see encircled in the red, if you look at where the ATV building setting, it's almost on the boundary of city property, based on this drawing that was done by the engineer.
Up here, Leroy. This boundary is what you're talking about right here?
See, this is city property
Right.
inside this. Right here sets the ATV building.
Oh, I see
And
it.
if you look, the parking lot is actually on city property.
And so is the road leading to it, yeah, the little loop. I
Yeah.
see that. Okay.
Now that needs to be independently verified, but that's one of the drawings I saw in city records, that's city property.
Okay, sir.
You can have that one. Not a clip, but you can have it on.
Leroy, I did have that surveyed, and I believe this drawing to be off a little bit.
Okay, and I'm not challenging that, I'm just saying it needs to be clarified.
Yeah, absolutely. If there's any questions, we need to get them cleared up.
The last drawing that I want to share with you is something that I received in November of 2017. And I think it was modified somewhat from the original application. And this drawing shows a combination of ATVs, hiking, and equestrian trails overlapping and intersecting. And the city's concerned that trails shared by both ATV and horses might not be a compatible mix. It's our understanding that from OMAG, which stands for the Oklahoma Municipal Insurance Group that does our insurance, that a similar combination of trails was attempted in Prague at one time and was shown not to be a good mix when you try to do equestrian and ATVs sharing trails. It's noted on the drawing that ATVs will only be allowed on city property when an ATV safety class is taught by instructors. We have found that it's a lot easier to say something like that than it is to enforce it. We're interested in who's going to provide liability insurance on these trails and name the city as additional insured. Who's going to police or enforce the trail regulations. And then what kind of natural barrier or barrier can be created so that all of a sudden we don't experience ATVs being ridden all over the adjacent Mineral Wells Park is one of our concerns. In closing, the issues I've identified are not insurmountable if we all work together. Clearly, the city has been supportive of the concept of the ATV Safety Training Center and adjacent trails. The city wants to be a good partner with the county, the OSU Extension Office, Oklahoma 4-H Foundation, the Fair Board, and the other entities involved in this project. However, we just think there are still several details that need to be addressed prior to final implementation of the project.
Leroy, thank you very much. Appreciate your input. Very relevant, good points. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna move on to the Fair Board Chairman, Mr. Oaks. If you've got some issues, or if you got questions or concerns, from the Fair Board's
I think our questions mainly are pretty much what Leroy addressed, and then also just as, we would just like clarity as to who's gonna be in control and maintenance and operations.
Okay, all right, thank you. And so with that, those are basically the two principles that y'all are, that the 4-H Foundation is dealing with. And what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna let the Board of Commissioners, the 3 commissioners, ask their questions, because I'm sure each of us have some questions that we like, and then I'm gonna turn it over to you, sir, to address those. And it sounds like we may need to have some follow-on meetings for discussion of some of these issues.
I'll have some information to provide you on that as well.
So, moving right along, Mike, you got any questions?
I
on this?
will, I'm just interested in the liability aspects of that as well, so, you know, I don't really have any until those concerns are addressed.
Okay, Mike?
I mean, really, they ask all the questions that we need to know. I mean, where are we at in this process, and when are we gonna start training kids?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about the kids for me, so safety.
So, Mr. Stowers, I'm gonna let you have the floor here for a bit. But if we could kind of restrict it to about 5 or 6 minutes. I understand we
That's
got,
not for me, but no problem.
we got a long day, I understand that. I do appreciate you coming here. We've got, we really all do want to work this out so we all be good neighbors and help one another. So
Sure, and just to, for the rest of it, for the record, with me here today also is Dr. Dean Kuhn, who's the Vice President of OSU, the head of the Agricultural Department, Kevin Allen, who is or Dr. Allen, I'm terrible at saying Dr. Allen all the time, but Kevin Allen with the head of the OSU 4-H, Oklahoma 4-H program, and then our new executive director, Milford Jenkins, he's just on board, and then our outgoing acting executive director, Shannon Farrell. And I can help a lot with some of this. This project has been, as you all know, quite a length of time and a lot of twists and turns. As you know, we have completed what we call phase 1 and phase 2 of the project, and that was constructing the building and the training facility itself that sits behind the building. That has been completed. Phase 3 was the exterior trails. That's run into more problems, many of which, when I came on board and started taking over this project to get it completed, I noted many of the same things, not all of the same things that was noted by the city of Guthrie, but no, there is not a lease agreement. When this first was proposed, that building would set over on city property back behind the rodeo arena. That got moved over onto county property. The survey that we've been provided shows that area where the building is, and that area back in there is on county property, and that's the property that we do have a lease with the county on for that part of the process. The trails have been much more problematic because of the legal issues involved, the mixed use that was originally proposed, frankly, the flooding of that area over there that would result in having to rebuild the trails constantly. So the trails at this point have been kind of the problem for us. We had extended our grant with tourism and actually asked for additional money, this was a year ago, to provide for the trails. All of the money in the grant initially was used on the training facility and the building itself. They did go ahead and grant that extension and additional funds. We've had trouble trying to figure out exactly how you would build those trails and make them work right. What you saw in the original proposal, in the grant proposal, doesn't make sense. We've had professionals at OSU working on it. Nothing really makes a lot of sense over there to get the kind of mileage and footage of trails that were proposed and that would also survive, repeated flooding. And so I actually just spoke yesterday with the tourism department, Susan Henry, who's overseeing the grants here, and our current grant expires July 1. Rather than try to renew that and continue working on these trails issues, she suggested we close the grant out with phase 1 and phase 2 completed. So the part you see right now, the building and the grounds in the back. And if we figure out a plausible plan for trails that meets everybody's requirements, that we come back then and ask for another grant to do the trails. So at this stage, I would say that the trail portion of it, those exterior trails, are on hold. There's a lot of issues, as mentioned by the city, on moving forward on that. The various other leases already in place and the problems associated with that use of that, including the federal grant that already exists out there on it. So that part of the original plan is, I'm not saying that it's not ever going to be done, but it's not going to be done until we figure out a better solution for everybody on it. So then, as to the building and the training facility that we have there now, we've been working with a couple of different groups. As you know, in the lease agreement with you guys, we set up that we anticipated either turning that lease over to OSU Extension, the 4-H program itself, to operate that building, or to the Ride Safe Oklahoma Coalition, which at that time we were a part of. That coalition has had some modifications, and the 4-H program and the 4-H Foundation are no longer part of that coalition. We offered that building for the remaining coalition to take over that operations. They declined, and so we've been working with OSU and are very close to having a MOU worked out with OSU Extension to take over operations of that building, so including the lease. Now, we will still have some obligation on the lease, but it was already agreed and put into the lease that it could be assigned to OSU. We anticipate that to be occurring in the next 30 days, is my guess. It may be sooner. And Oklahoma Farm Bureau has agreed to be a sponsor of that program, and so OSU 4-H, or the Oklahoma 4-H program that Dr. Allen oversees, will be operating that facility. There's a provision in our lease agreement that we would enter into an agreement with the county fair board regarding possible uses of that building when for purposes other than ATV, so that the county can use it if needed. I did not work that agreement out early. I wanted to leave that agreement to be worked out by whoever is going to be operating the building. So that's going to be Oklahoma 4-H program through Extension. So there still needs to be that agreement worked out there, but I don't think that's going to be a big problem. I didn't know about all the flooding that had you guys pretty much shut down, and we would need to do some work to secure the back part of the facility that has ATVs stored in it, but we could change some locks and do that. But I certainly would offer the county, if they need to use the office part of that for some purposes during this problem that you're trying to clean up, we certainly would be agreeable to that, certainly.
Yeah, Mr. Stars, you address the board, please. Thank you.
That's a general overview, but I'll answer any questions you have.
Mike?
So who's gonna keep it mowed all summer? I mean, last summer, weeds were pretty tall and looked pretty rough.
And maintenance on the whole maintenance, the grounds, the building, and all that stuff is of concern.
Of course. Well, obviously, and I went out last weekend and got most of it brush hogged. The back part was still wet, so I didn't get the back part finished. That will be maintained by the 4-H program or the county extension once we get that agreement in place. I will make sure that it's taken care of between now and then, personally.
From my standpoint, I'm concerned for two things. First of all, I wasn't a big fan of this program when it was first presented to us back in 2015. It was one of my first things on the board here, right? And it wasn't because I didn't like ATVs. I actually like ATVs, and the training and all that stuff, safety, makes perfect sense to me. Well, the thing that bothered me, and this meeting today kind of proves that out a little bit, is everybody wants to apply for federal grant money. It's free money. Well, it's really not free money. It comes out of our pockets. And so I've often seen these grant things go sideways, and they never get finished, and it becomes a waste of taxpayers' money. I don't want to see this happen here. When we were first presented with this program back in 2015, we were going to have ATVs running around by now, right? Actually, a couple of years ago, they should have had ATVs running around doing training and all that stuff, but it all kind of fell apart. And it's like every other grant program. Everybody's real excited to get the money and get it started and all that stuff, and then it falls apart. I don't understand why that happens a lot, but it does in the grant community. I would like to see this either we're training people over there like we said we were, we all said we were, right? Or we do something different and we get out of it, because that part of the fairgrounds over there, I mean, it does flood. We do have issues over there. It's no secret that the county's looking for places to relocate to new fairgrounds and those sorts of things. So there's a lot of moving parts here at the county too, and I'm talking about 5 to 10 years down the road. It's not something that's going to happen 5 to 10 days from now. But we do look forward to working this out with everyone concerned. To that end, Leroy, I would like to, if you would like to host a couple little meetings at your place with the principals to talk about these issues, and then we can also go over, I wouldn't mind setting in, or one of the other commissioners could, it doesn't matter, as long as we have, not as long as we have, but to have one of the county commissioners there to kind of help with any questions as far as our end of it. Very little of it's our end of it. Most of it has to do with Dennis, because he's responsible to the county for the fairgrounds out there. But if you want to put something together to where we can sit down and go over these things in detail, I mean, you had 4 very, very good items that we need to knock out, I think. So, I didn't mean for you to come here to take an action, sir. I didn't, and I don't impose to give you an action. It's an offer if you would like to do that, or if not, we can do that here.
You got any idea when you might get the training kids out there?
I'd have to leave that to Dr. Allen.
We're, like Mr. Stower said, we're currently in the process of working with Farm Bureau to sponsor a position that would be able to do so related to safety, ATV and other safety items related to agricultural safety.
Do you have any idea how long that might be out?
The negotiation of that process is, I feel like I'm going to have to refer to Dr. Doy on where we stand totally on that. I apologize. I don't mean to sound like I'm passing the buck here, but
well, I'm sorry. That's Tom Coon. So I think Mr. Stower said this the sponsorship by Oklahoma Farm Bureau really is key to this thing happening, and we're now that the trails question has been one of the holdups, because we weren't sure who's liable and that kind of thing. And so if we're not doing trails at this point, we can proceed with that that project sponsorship, the lease agreement between the Oklahoma 4-H Foundation and OSU. And so if we can get that resolved in the next month, then we'll post that position as soon as we have that resolved. We may be able to fill it internally, and in that case, then we may be able to get someone working on that, another 2 to 4 weeks after that. It may take longer if we have to recruit outside. So, fall at best.
Thank you. That's all I got.
Yes, sir.
I might add that the building is not, you're not seeing kids being trained there until we get this operation issue resolved. But the 4-H program already is utilizing the facility to bring its ATVs in and to send them out to the various counties. And I mean, it is already being utilized for that purpose, just not for the training yet on site.
So to follow that, one of the other concerns is there's a lot of equipment there that's been donated by people you know, around the community. The Oklahoma Standard, we talk about it all the time, right? This is a great idea, you know, and it's for to help the children's safety, that sort of stuff. So a lot of businesses in this area have donated a lot of equipment expecting that we'll be training kids now. And again, I'm kind of back to that issue. We need to really do what we say we're gonna do, or we need to cut bait, right? One of the two. Anyway, any other discussion?
I'll get you a copy of that survey, Leroy.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, hearing none, moving on, item 7. Open seal bids and consideration for possible action to award said bids.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you.
If you don't need us, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
May we be excused?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Leroy's taking it wrong.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.
Thank you, sir.
Logan County residents, you got here 2 years ago.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I didn't get a clear answer whether or not we would be able to use the facility to do educational programs locally. We are no longer able to use the fairground educational buildings. And so we're looking at how we might do some summer programming, and I wondered if that is a possibility. I probably should have asked before they
It
left.
sounded like a possibility to me.
So when we have our meetings with the city, we'll make sure that gets discussed. That's a valid point as well.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So moving on, item 7. 3-sided metal building add-on at the Logan County Fairgrounds.
We have 3 bids, All Pro Enterprises.
It's a 3-sided building? What's up with that?
It's up against the existing beef barn, so.
Okay.
RSM Development, Cedar Ridge General Contracting.
Is there a pre-bid meeting on this?
There was a pre-bid meeting held on June the 3rd for both this bid and this following bid for the spray foam insulation. 14 vendors qualified by attending.
Dennis, would you like to look at these, or you want to table them and let the board look at them?
That's up to you. Well, I mean,
That's up to you guys. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I'm pretty, I have not seen the bids, no, so.
so what we'd like to do, right, is be good neighbors with everybody. And of course, we'll make the decision, but normally that's based on a recommendation, right?
Okay.
So when we buy like fire trucks for a fire department or something like that, we'll go out for seal bids on those, and we let them take the packages back and look at them and make sure that it meets what they want. We offer that to you if you want to do that.
Well, here's my question. And that's awesome and that's great. And I refer maybe to Troy to some of this because she's my official bookkeeper too. So
Right.
I trust her to keep me in line too. But my question is this: are we under too tight of a time frame for us to do that, or is it possible for us to do that and still achieve what we need to achieve? I guess.
Are you talking about the end of the fiscal year?
Yeah.
The board meets again on the 28th. If you want to table these so that you can receive copies and, have some chance to go over them, we can put it back on for the board on the 28th, and I'll still let you encumber.
That would be.
We're going to close encumbrances on the 27th, but
Okay.
because of this situation, we'll do it on the 28th.
Sure.
That would be great. Because I'm sure the board and myself would like to look at the bids. And,
Sure.
yeah, absolutely. That would be great.
So our task at this meeting is to read to bid and what the bids were, and then let you have them, and then we'll make a decision on our next board meeting.
That's
So,
fantastic.
there was an addenda issued on this bid, which they were required to acknowledge. We have that. We have the required 2 affidavits and not 1 business relationship and non-collusion for Cedar Ridge. You need to read those out.
Now, are you on the insulation and the building, or just?
This is just the building right now.
Building will make
replace it next.
Cedar Ridge is what, 30,000?
$30,597.42. 42 cents. We must be precise.
What is that for?
This one is All Pro Enterprises. However, let me look again before I say this. Oh, there it is. So we have the affidavits and the addenda acknowledgement.
What was their bid, please?
Their bid is $27,800. This is a bid from RSM Development, who did not include acknowledgement of addenda.
So does that exclude them from the process?
It would.
Okay. So we've got two bids. Two bids.
All right,
Two legitimate bids, I guess.
do you need a motion to table?
Yeah, Rick,
Well,
no?
we'll just table.
We have one item in all these bids, so we can, you can do them individually as far as awarding, but I don't think we need a motion to actually table it.
All right.
Dennis, we will get you copies.
Thank you. Okay, spray foam.
Bid number 2019-15. Oh, MBI LLC. Cedar Ridge General Contracting.
Can I make a comment while you guys are looking at these?
Absolutely.
This was an experience. Because, I have many businesses, but construction's not one of them. But, and I've built lots of things, but long story short, we had no idea of maybe, when we set foot in this, we thought, okay, we're gonna get our building spray foam so we can improve the sound, we can improve the heating and cooling and, on and on. Well, come to find out, I guess because it's classified as a commercial building, even though it's in the county, it's in the city limits, you have to abide by the code. Well, according to code, you have to put, anytime you put spray foam on a building, you have to have a thermal, it's called a thermal ignition barrier. And trust me when I say I've learned a lot in the last month. But anyway, long story short, that thermal ignition barrier costs more than the actual insulation in most cases. So I'm curious, to be honest with you, I don't think we have enough money appropriated to cover this project, much less both projects. And I'd be curious to see what the bids are, and maybe look at those tables and look at them too. But so in the bidding process, when we first sent it out to bids, we had no idea of this. When we had our pre-bid meeting, that's when we became aware of this. And so I'm assuming that most of the guys that bid this had to go back and rebid it, again. So I'm expecting some exorbitant bids, I guess.
An addenda for the ignition
pretty
coating
exorbitant.
was, I still have more to go here, guys.
Okay.
Seacoast Roofing and Construction, and then we have an issue. We received a bid late. It clocked at 4:05. Bids closed at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon from Scorpion Spray Foam. Their bid is not eligible.
Okay. I have a bid from Cedar Ridge General Contracting LLC for $56,643.89.
MBI is 34,900.
We need to make sure that they bid it with the addenda. An addenda went out on those.
I would definitely say we would need to do some due
Okay.
diligence on this deal.
So here's on MBI, yes, they've submitted a proposal. However, they did not include the non-collusion affidavit or the business affidavit, so they didn't submit what was needed.
So where we at on?
Cedar Ridge has their documentation included, their bid $56,643.
Okay.
And let me look at this one for Seacoast.
That's one I just had.
Seacoast has theirs. Let me look at something I just realized on this one. And for Seacoast Roofing, $70,980. They did include a bond since it went over $50,000, and they did have their affidavits. So those are your two valid bids.
Next.
Okay, we've got bids on 6-month cold patch, or 6-month bid for cold patch, rock, bridge boards, crushed asphalt, laid in place asphalt, and ballot. For you.
We have 4 bids for cold patch. We have TNC Asphalt, Asphalt Producers. Well, they labeled it with bid information, but not a vendor's name. And Logan County Asphalt.
TNC asphalt out of Chandler, District 1, well, they're all the same, 950 bag for a 60-pound bag. Asphalt Producers, a 50-pound bag, or a ton, excuse me. A ton, $95. Well, it's hard to. And then delivered, that's picked up, delivered $105.50 each.
Go ahead.
All that together.
Logan County asphalt, a ton $99.75 and a 50-pound bag $9. Delivered by the ton $105 to each district, and delivered by the bag, 50-pound bag $10.50 a piece. I guess here, Craftco. By the ton $95, 50-pound bag $8. No bid on delivery by the ton, and $9.50 for a 50-pound bag delivered to each district. Anything jump out you guys put it on the spreadsheet.
Yeah, I just said wait,
Yeah. Okay.
Just wait for a
Spreadsheet. We're probably gonna have a few of those. And
Yeah.
appreciate that. Okay. -2, the 6-month rock bid.
We have 4 bids: Quapaw, Brown Transportation, Stewart Stone, DeLisi Brothers.
So did we put a contract specification that this gravel had to be dry when it was delivered?
Make sure they got a tarp over it.
You know what I'm talking about. Get a truckload of water and they weigh it, and you end up paying for
Lay
water.
it out and it's great.
Wet gravel's about twice
We
as
need to
heavy.
read all these off. I mean, there's a lot of line items here.
Yeah.
It would be hard to.
You want a spreadsheet for the next meeting?
Please. Okay, bridge boards, 6-month bridge boards. Is this where we gotta drive to Texas?
Seems like we was just talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
2 bids, Railroad Yard and Leo Hicks.
Railroad yard bid?
Railroad yard, a 16-foot board, they didn't put no prices on there.
So they're free?
It's really a no bid.
That would be it.
I don't see no prices.
I don't see any either.
Mr. Hicks and a 16-foot board is $84.96. A 18-foot's $96.66. A 20-foot's $107.40. A 22-footer's $132.
Per board. Yep. Price of creosote's going up, and there's nothing here. So.
I guess if you want to buy a board, you better take Hicks.
Oh, their cover letter says is returning a no bid. They do that because if they don't actually respond after 3 times, they're dropped from the vendor's list.
I see. So, what was the one bid we had?
Hickson.
Leo Hicks, they are the ones in Texas.
Yeah, that we gotta drive down there to get boards, 'cause they don't deliver them.
So they did bid both pickup and delivery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you look, the top price was pickup
Yeah.
location at Alto, Texas,
Woohoo.
or delivered to Logan County, and it's a $5 a board charge for delivery. $84.96 for a 16-foot for a pickup, $89.76 for a 16-foot delivered.
Minimum.
They didn't put in here any minimum.
Well,
I guess since that's the only one we got, we either accept it or reject it, right?
If you got the binding report, you better have it.
Yeah. Entertain a motion on that one.
See if we can get another bidder.
Mike, we've, for, what was it, the last
Yeah, I know.
18 months, 18
I
months,
know.
we've only had those one guys.
K&O.
Sorry?
We didn't have K&O, I thought we had K&O.
And I think the last one, we just had that one guy from Texas, this one, yeah.
I think K&O went out.
Hmm?
I think K&O went out.
Did they?
We sent bid packages to Oklahoma Home Center, K&O Construction, Railroad Yard, Sunbelt Equipment, Bridge and Highway, and Leo Hicks.
Make a motion we accept Leo Hicks.
Might as well, second.
Have a motion and a second for the discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, bridge boards, we've done that one.
I'm glad to deliver.
All right. Item number 2020-4, 6-month asphalt, crushed asphalt.
We have 4 bids. Atlas Asphalt Products, Haskell Lemon Construction, Logan County Asphalt, TJ Campbell.
Crushed asphalt's going up.
Want them on a spreadsheet, or want to read all these off, or?
Well, I mean, since there's delivered to each zone and each one, I mean, it's a.
I would like that spreadsheet.
Yeah, I think so too. I've already got, I mean, we've pretty much got a little bit of a discriminator here between Haskell and.
Just to give you an idea, though, let's see. Virgin hot asphalt delivered to District 1, 5866, 6166, 6266. Crushed asphalt, 2266. I say spreadsheet.
Yeah. Yep, all right. I'm good with that. What'd that do with my paper? All right. Almost lost my deal again. 1-year ballot printing? On a 6-month bid?
Yeah, it says 1-year bid.
Oh. It does.
We have a no bid from Tulsa County. They just labeled their envelope and sent it back that way. Midwest Printing and Royal Printing, and Shalene is not here.
Is this something that's fiscal year sensitive as well?
No.
These ballot, okay. So if
The
we,
only fiscal year was the 2 for the
if we
current.
open them, read them, and give them to her and let them come back.
We're good.
I'd like for, on printing, you never know what kind of customer relationships you have and that kind of stuff.
I say we put them on a spreadsheet and give them to Celine.
Yep.
Okay.
Here we are. All right. Last one, 6-month laid in place, asphalt.
Mm-hmm.
Then
3
next-
bids.
Next thing we need some
Atlas
weather,
Paving.
we're gonna start laying some asphalt.
Haskell Lemon, TJ Campbell.
put that on the spreadsheet?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Okay, so I think that finishes up item 7, the sealed bids. Any further discussion there? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 8. Consideration and possible action to approve resolution to return a donation of $122,397 to Highland Trails Owners Association. That's in District 1. We've been, if y'all remember last year, we did that resolution and the cooperative agreement with Highland Trails. It's a private roads, they maintain them in there, but the cooperative agreement was for us to do use our materials and use our people and our equipment if they bought the materials to do that. Well, with the recent rains and emergencies and the last 90 days has really changed our focus, as everyone on our board's aware. And so I talked with the chairman of that board, and she agreed to accept the check back, and we will re-look at this this fall, depending upon what our workload looks like. But they do understand that. We're going to refund their money. They're going to look at trying to get a commercial outfit to do that for them. And if they can't, then we'll work through it. Anyway, this is to be a good neighbor and refund that back to them to allow them to do what they need to get done.
I'll move we approve.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, item 9, consideration and possible action to approve request to Natural Resources Conservation Services for emergency funding due to heavy rains which has caused damage and erosion to stream banks. Did you get all?
I got yours, I got District 3's.
Okay.
This is the form letter that Deanne gave us to use to submit the request. It's set up for the chairman to sign. I've just attached what I received from the 2 districts. All this does is put in the request.
We still have some we're working on.
Might be too late.
I know.
I'll make a motion we approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes without objection. Roger's pictures, you had a list.
Have a long list.
You did. Well, you got a lot more roads up there than we do.
My point. And less money. And less money. Just don't add up there. Again.
No argument.
Again, yeah.
Okay. So, we've approved item 9, page 2 of 4. Moving on, item 10, consideration possible action to approve resolution accepting $3,600 donation from Sharon Wade to Logan County Sheriff's Office for purchase of 5 body cameras.
That pretty much sums it up.
Hey, will that cover the cost?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously, I think.
Aye, yeah. And thanks to Sharon.
Yeah, thanks.
We do.
Item 11, consideration of possible action to approve resolution accepting part of Davis Road as it extends south approximately 4,480 feet from Prairie Grove to the dead end, then west approximately 1,060 feet to the end of Davis Road. What we discovered during this last little flood event, when we were doing research on Davis Road, which is over off of south of Industrial, just off the Division. That's really not a county mile line road through there, right? So, as you guys are aware, one of our restrictions is we're precluded by law from working on a private road without doing some cooperative agreements. So the best we could find out, and doing some search with the clerk and the records and all that stuff, we could find nothing where the county's officially ever accepted Davis Road as road. However, I got a bridge on that road, but we haven't accepted the road, but we got a bridge they're responsible for on an ODOT bridge, right? So, being a good neighbor, again, we had 2 choices: either quit working on it or adopt it and keep working on it, right? So it's something we've already done. I don't like throwing people under the bus like that. So I would ask the board to approve this. action to adopt Davis Road. It's something that the county's been doing to this point. We've got another mile of that, that's from Industrial down to Prairie Grove, that we're working with the city of Guthrie right now on what they want to do on that. And if necessary, we'll come back at our next meeting and discuss that north end and talk about it.
I'll move with approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Item 12, consideration of possible action to approve a resolution to donate canine known as Yalo
Correct.
and canine equipment to Blaine County Sheriff's Office.
With the handler of Yellow recently went to Blaine County. She'd be the second handler of this canine. Due to the canine's age, we didn't feel that we could really train up another third handler for Yellow. This is an animal that we got from the city of Guthrie, donated to us. And it's one of those deals where we could either keep it assigned to the handler or just put it in our yard somewhere. So we thought it'd be best interest of the canine to be with the handler working at Blaine County.
I think it's in the best interest of the deputy that's handling that dog as
Sure.
well. Yeah,
Well, there's
absolutely.
that too.
That makes perfect sense.
How old is she?
Thanks, Lynn.
I believe she's 8.
Yeah.
Can we do a
Post it
demo?
in and-
Yeah, next
With one
meeting
of these guys?
I'll have you here. We'll put you in the light suit. Or not.
Maybe we put Mike in that suit.
Now, wait a minute, we could sell tickets to that if you.
We could do a road fund.
Exactly. A road run. I like it.
I'll move with approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Item 13, consideration and possible action to approve resolution to participate in ACO SIG property and liability insurance and select payment option.
We did finally receive, this is the property and liability. We did the workers' comp, the last bill. It went about $14,000 from last year. And there's 2 pages there to sign.
And I guess it's still with the $25,000 deductible.
It does have a $25,000 deductible. The total bill, $247, included $40,000 back into the deductible fund.
So, we want to do option 1, option 2?
Yes, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
option 1 is pay in full, which is cheaper than
Yeah.
2 payments.
How much does it save us to do that, Phil?
I'd have to look at the numbers again. 3,000 to 4,000 seems to me.
Significant. I move we accept
Second.
Option 1 or option 2?
option 1.
Option 1.
Excuse me. You're right. I should have-
$257,383.
No.
Killing.
So motion and second for discussion.
I think it's too high. I'd like to throw
Second.
that out.
Aye.
I second that as well. That is too high.
But I'll vote aye.
All in favor say aye.
I just point out between workman's comp and property and liability, just those 2 forms of insurance, $500,000.
Thanks, sir.
All that's gonna go to the fairgrounds, I think.
The deductible fund, the deductible, since you brought that up, is $25,000. So
Right.
that'll come out of our deductible fund, and then we've got the coverages.
Correct. Okay, moving on. Item 14, consideration of possible action to approve contract in the amount of $67,695 with Vance Brothers Incorporated for chip and seal project for District 3 bid number 2019-13.
I got a grant, or a REAP grant from ACOG for about 30, and I was gonna cover the other 30 out of the CDRI account, so I make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Have a motion and a second on this. Mike, any further discussion? Anything from you?
I'm sorry?
On consideration and possible action to approve contract for $67,695 with Vance Brothers for Monty's District 3 chip and seal project.
Aye. What?
Okay.
No more discussion.
No more discussion.
No more discussion.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, item 15, consideration and possible action to approve verification of new county road submission to ODOT.
Received from District 2.
Yeah, we accepted these roads. And we'll put it on the county inventory with ODOT.
So these roads have already been accepted, man,
Yes.
passed. Man, I don't like doing that. Can't take care of the roads we got. I don't think we ought to be accepting more.
I agree.
But it seems that's already done.
It's really any help with that.
Well,
And there's a lot of people, and so that's what we're here for, is to take care of the most as best as we can.
well, in my opinion, though, if you take the money off a section line road, putting in a subdivision road, you're hurting the other people. That's just my opinion.
But they pay taxes too, so,
They
okay.
absolutely
I
do.
agree.
But
We all
when they
pay
bought that
taxes.
house, they
I
knew
agree.
it was in
I
a
agree.
subdivision.
We all pay taxes.
But it seems that you already accepted, and I will support this. Did you make a motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion. Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 16, consideration and possible action to approve FY 2019-2020 service agreement with, somebody help me out, so Schneider Electric IT Incorporated for critical power and cooling system maintenance for the sheriff's office.
Yeah, this is basically our IT room that holds all our servers, critical data stuff.
Can you pick a vendor that's easier to pronounce?
Yeah, I'll work on it next time, I apologize.
Make the motion to accept.
I'll second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 17, consideration and possible action to approve FY 2019-2020 agreement with City Coin Company for inmate telecommunications services for the sheriff's office.
Good Lord.
This is, just as it says, telecommunications for our residents.
This is where they can call home,
Yes. It's an existing contract,
and we monitor that line, right?
more so now than ever.
You've got a sense of humor, I just absolutely love it.
No, it beats crying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll make which one.
Have a motion, and you have a second, Mike?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes without objection. Item 18, consideration and possible action to approve agreement with Vistacom in the amount of $4,257 for eventide maintenance. What in the world is that?
This
Eventide.
covers our recording device that records our radio traffic, our phones, everything.
Okay.
Make the motion to approve.
I'll second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 19, consideration of possible action to approve FY 2019-2020 agreement with Leads Online in the amount of $948 for the sheriff's office.
Yeah, I know you guys are gonna have everything else on the agenda. This is basically a web service that provides a lot of valuable information for our investigators.
Yeah, absolutely. Understand? I move we approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes without objection. Item 20, consideration of possible action to approve FY 2019-2020 maintenance agreement with iTouch Biometrics LLC in the amount of $1,980 for scanner for the sheriff's office.
This is our fingerprint machine.
Got it. Entertain the motion.
I think Mike made. You made a motion.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
second.
Have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 21, consideration of possible action to approve FY 2019-2020 agreement with Regional Organized Crime Information Center, ROSIC, right, for annual service fee, $300 for the sheriff's office.
Yes, that would be me.
Again.
Yeah, you know, this is an organization we use that has a lot of things that we can use for criminal investigations, be it made vehicles, cameras. They also have a lot of information that we use quite a bit.
Thank you. Entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second. Have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on. Item 22. And you're only on the line 2 more times here, boss.
I know, I'm ready to take a break.
All right. You gonna go to
Old
Missy's?
enough. I've already been here.
All right. Consideration of possible action to approve FY 2019-2020 service agreement, $447 per month with Dan's Pest Control for pest control in the sheriff's office. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
It is what it is.
Heard it ain't working.
I will entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 23, and then we'll leave the sheriff alone. Consideration and possible action to approve FY 2019-2020 agreement for comprehensive health services, $18,747.87 per month with turnkey health services for the sheriff's office.
Yeah, this is our vendor that provides the medical services inside of our facility.
These are the folks that help us provide medication so we don't
Yes.
have our people trying to do all that stuff. And that is an outstanding.
Did they not, did they provide a doctor?
Yes.
Entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Item 24, consideration of possible action to approve FY 2019-2020 software lease maintenance agreement at $15,048 with TM Consulting for the Treasurer's Office.
I will make the motion to approve. Consult.
We have a Troy, have you got an idea what this software does for them?
This is the treasurer's, the proprietary for operations of our treasurer's office.
Oh, this is the little
This
link
is
they go
what's
to?
going to generate your tax bills and do her banking and.
I get it. Yep. Okay.
I
So,
say no.
You said,
We don't need it.
we'll let you explain that to her.
I'll second Mike's motion.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Item 25, consideration of possible action to approve FY 2019-2020 agreement with Caliber Interact for $220.41 for mobile cop services for the treasurer's office.
The tax warrant deputy uses these web information for serving warrants.
And she can't get the sheriff to pay for that? Just-
They'll have their own.
Well, I'm, you know, if I can say something.
Absolutely, go ahead, sir.
I don't know that that the treasurer's office has access to mobile cop.
Yeah.
That's for the treasurer's office. They've had it for 100 years.
Mobile cop?
I guess, that's the bill.
Okay. Do you guys use it?
Yes.
Is it something we can share?
It's sensitive information.
Yes.
Jesse uses it, not the girls in the
Oh,
office.
okay.
The
That makes
investigator.
sense. Okay. I was just like, all right, we need to
No,
probably.
Well,
Jesse, the tax deputy.
Yes.
Can he not piggyback on what you do?
Well, each individual license has to have, you know,
Per user?
That's
per
right.
user. Yeah, it's per user.
That's what it is.
Wow.
And we're in the process of hopefully doing away with that service, because it's a long story, but hopefully we're gonna do away with that with a different vendor that we're currently using, so.
Does she need to look at a different vendor as well? Do I need to table this?
Yeah, no. Yeah, personally, I would prefer it be tabled, because we're not renewing our contract at this time.
Okay.
I'd like to table that.
Okay.
And I appreciate her being on top of this, but it's our goal to do away with that.
Okay.
So you wanna just get with her?
Yes.
Okay, item 25 has been tabled.
You, Chris, doesn't have it.
Yeah, I think if I don't have it, she can't have it. I've been asking for years.
We got GMC. That's been signed, but we need to get that back.
I got a Logan copy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that's what that was. Okay, 26, consideration and possible action to approve FY 2019-2020 landmark software support agreement and Marshall and Swift fees, $41,144 for assessor's office.
Again, proprietary software for the assessor to do her valuation and,
This for the oil field activities, all that?
no, no, this isn't a task contract. This is in-office software.
Okay, right. Well, I knew they had two different deals. Entertain a motion.
Assuming it's on state contract to approve, is that how that works?
Not on that stuff.
Made the motion. I'll second. Have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Where am I at here? Item 27, consideration and possible action to approve the following FY 2019-2020 professional service agreement for the health department. Misty DeMoss, registered nurse, at $25 an hour. Araceli Ocampo, admin clerical, and Barbara Tennyson, admin clerical, both those $15 an hour.
My second.
Have a motion and a second, further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 27, consideration of possible action to approve FY 2019-2020 contracts for juvenile detention services. Western Plains Youth and Family Services, $58 a day. Sac and Fox Nations, $23 a day. Tulsa County, $68.25 a day. Sequoia Enterprises, $26 a day. Texas County, $41. Canadian County Juvenile Detention, $36 a day. Entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously.
If I
Yeah.
could just remind the board that on these juvenile contracts, those are funded from general government M&O, as we're required by statute to pay for the juvenile housing. And we never know how much. It averages $35,000 to $40,000 a year.
And how much do we get reimbursed?
Well, I think last year about 2,000.
Well, that's a money making deal.
We should get a bigger truck.
I don't think they pick them up either.
No, they don't.
We transport.
Okay. We've done 28. All right.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay. 29, consideration and possible action to approve FY 2019-2020 legal services contract with Tisdale and O'Hara for the assessor's office.
Make the motion to accept.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Chairman, we have none for items 30 and 31.
That have to get page 4.
No, I'll reattach.
Okay. Item 32, consideration and possible action to approve the following permanent road crossing permit for Coxcom LLC. Cross parallel north Noble Drive, Cedar Lane, 1 mile south of Simmons Road. Cross Bryant Avenue, 0.16 miles south of West Simmons Road, south of the northwest corner of section 3115 north to west.
They're coming in there. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 33, consideration and possible action to approve the following temporary road crossing permits for Select Energy Services. Parallel Simmons, 0.2 miles west of Simmons Road and Council. Parallel Simmons, 1 mile east of Simmons and Council. Parallel MacArthur, 0.6 miles south of Simmons, MacArthur, and cross MacArthur, 0.6 miles south of Simmons and MacArthur. Seems to be over my area. 12-inch water line from Select Energy. I make the motion we approve.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 34, consideration and possible action on consent agenda.
Troy, if you would hold up on that.
I will. This that I just handed Mike is the contracts with Tisdale that you've already approved. So once those work their way down, I'll add more.
She did warn me to do my finger exercise and say I get cranked up.
She wrote her card in here, it's not good.
Yeah. When she rinses you all the time like here, it gets even worse. Whatever.
That was, let me have it, it was attached in there. I'll organize.
I'll send that back. It's not done yet.
Thanks.
It's kind of rare. Just record.
I'm glad that air conditioner shut off.
Good for touring.
Need a little blanket shirt.
Maybe your conditioner snuck me out. Just right there.
What do you say, Chris? He's up on number one.
Commissioner 3 snug you out.
Yeah, I need
District 3 across the back.
find one.
I
I'll
like
wear
it.
it next meeting.
I use the Amazon card.
E-card. Or M&O account.
Only if I authorize it.
Or true.
Yeah, you can't leave her office unless it's off the top
She
of
can take it
us.
anywhere she wants.
Total control.
Hey, if you bought everything else, you just want to get some snuggies.
There you go.
We got him in orange.
Just gonna leave that one alone. So does Texas County have a special facility just for juveniles? Is that?
Yes.
I mean, that makes, I was just sitting here wondering why, if we were gonna contract with another county, but that would make sense. Why? There's only a few of them that do that, or?
Yeah, we've looked into the possibility of adding, another pod for that to maybe reduce some costs. And average cost of additionally will be about $2.5 million. So we'll continue to pay somebody else to do that. Plus,
That's just a rounding error out of one of your cash accounts, isn't it?
not really.
I was kidding, Charlie.
Yeah.
You know I was kidding. I know you weren't. I mean, it's budget time and, yeah.
Consent agenda, payroll.
Most important part of me.
So, remind me not to make budget jokes during June anymore. I won't do that.
June, July.
June, July. Well, July is over with.
It's still sensitive at the time.
It is sensitive. Open winds and such.
Don't say July, stop the bleed.
Tourniquet. Everyone gets a free tourniquet.
I don't want to hear it.
Just,
I get to organize all of this once and type it all up, redo it. Now I get to go back and redo it and sign and seal.
I'm ready for RA.
yes, I'm,
Oh.
you have an awesome responsibility. Didn't mean to take that from you.
Here's you a couple more.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Whole ton of signatures there. That's Chris down.
Behind the camera.
Causing a motion?
blankets?
I'll be here till
More than I can tell you.
Officer reports.
Stress was just more than I could bear.
Things are good in the fall. Almost away.
Guys, thanks.
Dennis, be good.
Take it easy,
Thanks for
Dennis.
coming.
Still, Chris, you got that upgrade your camera.
My camera's been on that channel a few times.
Is he getting
They all
camera
work the
envy?
same.
Camera envy, he's getting camera
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
Give me a second. No, give me a couple seconds. Already had a second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item 35, consideration of possible action to approve claims for payment June 2019.
I'm against it.
Oh, well.
Trying to figure out why she only has it on me though.
Cause I'm the best looking one here.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen these other two guys?
That's what you said.
Hadn't broken yet.
It didn't crack, did it?
Didn't crack. I know you might wanna put that into a maintenance
you get back.
$5.34. Guilty. That's right.
And $10 paper.
Yeah.
It's even more than that, when you get to thinking about how many people hours are involved in generating and signing and doing all, man, it gets bad. Is that for me?
No, never mind.
Oh, I got one on the bottom there.
I'll have to just go around.
Money is human.
Killed my soul, but I did.
95 cents? Come on, man, you can do better.
Hey, it's tough game. Down the line through.
I can forgive an invoice before PO on a Dub Ross order, I mean, today, you know, we gotta fix this road. Takes priority over. Did you get a PO in on that yet?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Item 36, consideration and possible action on approving purchase card payments for June 2019.
Yep. We have some.
Well, I thought you did.
Amazon.
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 Wonderful people.
Debatable.
Best.
Debatable. You should just set us up with an open account and we'll just let us do our own thing.
There you go.
Sure.
Oh, they just have an extra week to spend here.
Well, you know, Chris said he needed another camera and I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on Amazon.
Oh, I'm aware.
Mm-hmm. I just got a greenhouse off of it.
Not gonna say that there.
Leave that
I'll make a
alone.
motion that we approve.
I second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the P card. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right. We're done with that. Item 37, any citizens desiring to be heard?
Can I make 2 comments about what you guys talked about today?
Yeah, on the agenda? Sure.
Yeah. TJ Campbell, I don't know what you guys think about them, about their asphalts or whatever, but I know things don't seem to be going very well on Highway 74 right now. The way they're doing it, have to take up pavement, put in pavement, and that sort of thing. And then on your ATV track, if that's ever open up to the citizens, you'll get a lot of ATV sales are going down, like UTV, Razors, Rangers are going up, and those generate more speed and they're louder. Something to keep in mind, especially when you're dealing with horses.
Thank you.
All right. Any other? Hearing none. Item 38, comments, announcements, questions by the Board of County Commissioners. Mike, anything from you?
You were talking about these addition roads. I'll remember in 2007, Big Gully that's off of Midwest Boulevard had a big tin horn there that got washed out, leaving 4 or 5 houses up in the air as to how they could get to their house. It was totally washed out. There was no access to their houses. And FEMA had come in, but FEMA would not pay for a horn unless that could be shown that the county was the one that was doing the work. And so Kevin Leach, who was commissioner at that time, accepted those roads for maintenance only, for public maintenance, and the horn was placed and the horn was reimbursed by FEMA. Now, what I have kind of a question about is that if we do these interlocal agreements, okay, when a horn washes out, as has happened in this particular flood twice, then would an interlocal agreement have satisfied FEMA for reimbursement for the big horns that were washed out? You see where I'm going with this? If this was a privately maintained road, but a public access.
I think I do. So if we entered into an interlocal agreement with a private addition.
Privately maintained, but public access.
Okay, and then we put a culvert in there, and it was, that was specified in the test that we're gonna put this culvert in, all, they're gonna pay for it and all that stuff.
Correct.
At the end of that, then our liability associated with that is no longer, it's not there.
Correct.
So I don't believe that would be anything the county's responsibility as far as any FEMA reimbursement if that got washed out again.
Mhm.
I don't know that to be a fact, but it doesn't, that doesn't track very well with me as far as, because it's actually private property, and from what Lowell told me when we were going through these local agreement talks, this is an agreement between the county and the private landowners that will come in and do a one-time thing, and this is and we list out the specifics of the one-time thing, what we're gonna do. Once that work's completed and they're happy and signed off on, we're out of it, we got no more liability associated with it.
Correct.
So are you asking FEMA would pay for it?
What do you think about FEMA
You'd have
would,
to ask FEMA.
for the county to be able to do that,
Yeah.
which they wouldn't have the wherewithal, so they'd have to get a construction outfit. You see where I'm going with that?
Oh,
And in the meantime, of course, they would not be able to reside in their homes.
So I think the private landowner, if they were able to get FEMA reimbursement, would be able to contract with whomever they could, and could enter into a cooperative agreement with the county to do that work if we were available to do it. If we had the time and, you know.
Well, fortunately, that did not happen, but in my instance. But still, that is a question I had in my mind, and so,
Okay.
all right,
Anything else, Mike?
no.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mike?
We got a lot of work to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir, we do. Lots and lots. All right, I am done also with item 38, unless, Troy, you remind me to remind myself that something I need to talk
No,
about.
not that I can remember at the moment.
All right, entertain the motion on item 39.
I'll move with adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.